everyone, so I'm going to demonstrate the bloom. I'm using a lazy little cake spinner as a way of trying to help the shape, maintain the shape as I spread it out over. This is an old one I did, probably as a demo in class I think, and it's not great, but my students object when I go to scrape it off. So I'm following this SheleeArt method and recipes here. So I've got some white low sheen house paint, which I'm using as my pillow. Hoping the light's enough. I'm trying to get in before it gets too dark and I have to turn the lights on. Okay, so they're just air bubbles that are popping there. Good. It's only a small canvas. What is it? Must be a, I don't know, just be a 6x6 I think. It hasn't got big edges, so I don't think I need to worry too much about having too much paint on. Now I'm going to use a mixture of pigments and paints. I'm going to start off with a Prussian blue paint. I think I'll just put it on with my stick. I sort of normally put the first layer on a little bit wider so that it sticks out from the others. So that was a paint, and now I'm going to put on a couple of pigments. I'm going to put on this lovely seagrass pigment and this other turquoisey one. Now at this stage I might just sort of not cover it all up and just put it across a little bit rather than pouring directly on top. So I've had a couple of pigments. I reckon it's good, they say it's good to go back to a paint, so I'm going to go to a fellow turquoise paint. So paint, 2 pigments, and then I'm going to go back to a paint. Well, it feels a little bit thicker than the others. Okay, then I've got some more pigments. Where are they? I've got this really dark pigment that I'm going to put on the top. Oh, maybe that is the end of my pigments. I've got a gold paint, that's alright. I had a gold pigment and I was worried I had too many pigments, and I made up this gold paint out of the 24K, DecoArt 24K gold. I'm just going to pop that on. I do have another pigment. I've got this interference green here, colour here. So I think I'm going to put this dark blue, sapphire blue pigment on. And then the interference green. And then I'm going to just put some white. So this is just the white paint, titanium white. It's fairly thick still. Might just put a little bit more varnish in that. So this is going to be my top paint before I put my cell activator on. And I'm putting white because it's a fairly dark paint. That actually is very thick. I'll have to thin that down next time. It's a fairly dark colour combination. So I thought if I put a bit of white under the Payne's grey, which I'm putting on top, that would really help it. And there's some Payne's grey. Now, to describe how to blow is really tricky. So I better be quick because I might have to do a voiceover so I don't lose all my paint. All right. The first thing I do is just take it out a bit. It was like blow down and around. I normally like to see some little cells going at this stage. I can't see any. So anyway, I'm going to now blow out from that now that I've got a bigger area of the Payne's grey. see one little bit where I went too far and went into the white. I try and blow one out, petal out into the corners. I haven't done that well down here, so that it just helps to reach those corners when you're trying to trying to latch on and stretch it out. I'm just going to blow a little bit more here. So one of the things I like to do is not have these lines come in too far, or else then sometimes, well, it depends how you want it to look obviously, but sometimes I can leave too distinct lines there. Nothing much to blow there though. No, I think that's enough. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and what we're trying to do is we're going to make sure that the paint that I've blown down and then blowing it out, that's not too thin there, that it's coming back in on itself. And the way to really do that is to see how it's moving. That's already moving pretty well, so that is great. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than that. Now I'm going to try and just centre that as best I can visually. Move a few things out of the way. Sometimes I have a box around me, but it's hard to then have the camera, so I'm just going to take it slowly with my spin. I have put a little stick here to help me spin. Oh, there it goes. Great colours. Maybe I won't use white next time, but I'm really loving these blue cells. I don't know if you can see them well. I'm just going to, so I've been spinning it. Which way was I spinning it? I was spinning it that way, weren't I? I was going to spin it the other way. Now it's obviously coming over here enough, but I want it to go over that side more. So I'm trying to remember which way to move it so that it goes there. That way. I think I have to move it that way towards it. Let's try that. Oh, it's a little bit wobbly now. Okay, so that's getting there. So I think that was the right way to move it, so if I'm wanting it to put more on that end, I'm moving that over that way, to moving it off. Okay, so we've got some lovely cells. I've obviously lost quite a few off the side as well, but given that edge there, I'm just going to now pick it up and just see if I can move it down that way a bit. No, I think I'm going to put it back again. So the beauty about having it on the spinner is that it does take it out evenly. When you're just tilting it, which I've done a lot of still, but it's harder to then have it centered and having the nice patterns. Alright, one last little spin. Okay, and that's just about there. We've got this one little bit coming in. That was what I was talking about, not having them come in too far, because it can be hard to spin them out, this white bit here. I think I might leave that. I can always, if that white is too stark at the end, when it's dry, I could always paint that again as well. So let me just bring this up and show you, and we'll do another one. So I like those cells towards the edge, so I'm not going to put the white on next time. Okay, so I'll find somewhere to put this and go down there. Okay, so I've got a bigger one. That was the last, that's part of why I reused that one. It was the last small one I had. Okay, so I've got a 12 by 12 here. And so now I'm centering it by feeling where the base is underneath. I can't visualize, can't see it, so I've got to feel it. I'll try it with the light on this time. That probably changes the colours a bit, so bright. Alright, so base, pillow base. Actually, I'm going to show you with the hairdryer this time, I think. This canvas is a little bit saggy in the middle. Okay, so wandering around looking for hairdryer. It's right in front of me all the time. Anyway, I'll show you those in just a sec. This is about to run off the canvas. Alright, I'll just get going. Rightio, well, actually those colours work really well. I might stick with the Prussian blue on the bottom. Actually, I might pour it. Some of it. So because this is a bigger canvas, I am just going to take the paint out a little bit more. So I like the gold, I just don't like the white, so that's okay. So I think I want this colour to be more dominant next time, so I might just change it up a little bit. I'll put some gold here. Hope that I can see that. Rightio, so now we've got this. Put that one on the top. Okay, so we've got this lovely, I think this one's called Tail Feather, this little piggy. And we're going to have this one. I might put a little bit more of that on the top. Okay, so a couple of pigments. Now I need to go to a paint. So the paint I'm going to use is this lovely fellow turquoise. Okay, we've got the interference green. And then I'm going to put this colour. Just going to spread it around, which is a paint. Oops, I meant to do that one on top. Never mind. Just going to put a little bit more of that one on. I think I've used everything that I want to. I'm not going to use the white this time. Actually, I don't think I'll use this dark sapphire. Never mind. We'll put a little bit on now. And we'll see how we go without another colour on the top. Okay, now I'm just going to move this colours back into the centre. I think I'm still going to stick with the Payne's Grey, despite the colours. I might just put a little bit more of that so it's under the Payne's Grey. I could put a little bit of gold, couldn't I, as well, which is a paint. Okay, as you can see, I'm being very precise here, not. Okay, so now I'm just going to put the Payne's Grey on. Now instead of blowing with my mouth this time, I'm going to blow with a couple of different hairdryers. I'll just show you this one first. I'll use the other one probably. This is just one of those little mini blowers. Take the long top off, and it's not bad for blowing out that centre. Start from on high until you can get a sense of it, and just move it around. Move it around. Don't go too close. You're just trying to spread it at this stage. The other hairdryer I have is I butchered a had a rolling thing on it. Anyway, I've by putting this other little top on, I've made it reasonably good fit for what I need. Now remember, this sometimes, so I've just burnt a hole in the bottom here, but it's not even, and so it doesn't blow evenly in each direction. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll just take this little one again and go out this way. As much as I normally use the other one, I actually think this little one has some potential. I must play with that some more. It's a slower speed blow. I think that can work, but I'm loving these sorts of cells, and there'll be more cells that pop up in here. So one of the things you can do to help the cells pop up, I'm just going to spin that around in case, see, not sure if it's the way I've got it on or it's something's not even level there, so I'll just see how we go. You can see that centre is not moving yet, so it's also a useful experiment. Now, oh look, they're coming up. I don't really need to do this, but if you want to, you can grab a straw and you can just puff into the black and try and see if there's a little bit more colour to come up. Just gently, you're not actually trying to spread it, you're just coming down and encouraging the colour to come up. What I find is often they'll come up later anyway as it's done, so I'm going to just give that a minute. See how that centre is not moving as well, but at least with the centrifugal force it's not as big a problem. If I was to try and tilt that, the centre would stay and everything would go over the centre. So when you're not using a spinning device, you've got to be really careful that that centre is moving. Oh, I didn't use heat on that last one at the end, which I will go and do in a minute. Okay, so I'm just noticing the bubbles, that's what reminded me of that. So I'm just going to move that still back a little bit into the centre so that it spins off evenly. There we go. Trying to not have paint get everywhere splashing over me. Yep, there we go. I really should have something around this, or have it further, actually I should have it further forward on the table, that's what I should do. I have got my really old paint covered shoes on, so I've made sure of that today. Yeah, so I should have it further back onto the table so it's not coming off the table. Alright, another little spin. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. The bloom centre is not centre, which is fine, or I could decide to tilt it. There's something. Where's my tweezers gone? There's some here, but they're not the sharp ones. There's something here. Is that just, I should just, oops, I think it was probably just an air bubble. I should just get the heat, which I'll do now. Actually, I'm just going to move that slightly back that way. I like to make sure I'm really happy with it, or finish with it before I use the heat, because it can dry the surface really quickly, I found, on this paint, and then you really don't want to keep playing with it. And there usually are bubbles, lots of bubbles. Take you down and have a look. See how that centre's all filled in now. Okay, so that was that, and here's the earlier one I did. those little cells there. Okay, always goes. So have fun trying it yourself. Okay, so I'm going to do one more just to keep thinking about what I need to show. I'm going to do a white cell activator on the top of this one. And I'm going to introduce a blue-red pigment, red-blue duo pigment, I think, into it. I think that's the main change that I'll do. I might try the phthalo turquoise on the bottom this time. Oh, the other change, I'm going to use gold pigment rather than gold paint this time as well. Okay, so we've got that. I think I'm going to go with the, that one on the top. I want them all on the top because they're all nice. This gets a bit hard. I'm going to go with that on the top. Don't know what to put next. I normally try and go light dark, so I guess I'll put some of this one on. But I really wanted a bit on the top as well, so I might put some more on. I don't know if I've seen this one much. It's probably been hidden in the back end. Take a little bit out. Then we might put a paint on. I think I might put this paint on. Then I'm going to put the pink. And some gold. And then I'm going to put a bit more of, I'm going to do it right, I'll put a bit of blue paint. Just need to see what that's like in a different spot. Then I'm just going to put a little bit of this one on there and a little bit of this. And then a bit of interference green, maybe around here. I was going to use a white on the top, which is still okay, but I didn't put much of the blue on. I might just put a little bit of blue under the cell activator. Okay, so it is definitely moving down this way. Don't know. And the cell activator. Okay, now I'm going to try this one to start with. Actually, I'm just going to do my mouth to start with. It's going to get very thin little lines rather than thicker ones using that. Although it does work well. Just going to go back to this one. So I haven't quite come up with a perfect hairdryer, I don't think. I'm just going to really blow this out here. So I'm just going to put a little bit more here. I can blow. I do like the white on top of these colour combinations as well. like there's a bit white here. I don't want to muck up their cells, but I think they can play that one. I'm going to put a little bit more white here, so I really want to come over over that one. Oops, just dropped something. I've gone down to the white, I think, there. That wasn't such a good move. So let's just see how it's moving. I like the fellow turquoise on the bottom, looks good. See how that spins out. I think that's not too bad. Spinning. Moved it a little bit away from the edge, so let's hope that helps. Got a bit caught up though. This line's too precise there. Just try and blow it a bit. No. Oops, already got the corner of my top. No, too late to blow. All right, we're just going to have that. This is such a long way in, isn't it? Now I might see if I can spin it more that way, if I lift it up and move it that way. Oh, I lost the whole thing off the thing. Not quite that much. See what I can do. This is just such a long way in. I'm going to see if I can be slightly sneaky. Just take some of that colour down there. Might look a bit odd. That's not a good move. Alright, where's my... I knew that this was probably very risky, because there's 3 layers of paint and you've got that white. As soon as you touch it, that white comes up. Although I've done a reasonable job of not getting too much white on there when I've done that, but it still looks a bit odd compared to the rest, doesn't it? So even when you come to touch the sides, I mean, hopefully you can spin them out enough that you don't really need to. You know how on other paintings you touch up, you've got to be really careful. And what I would use is a palette knife with some colour and touch up. That's too much. That's too much of that colour. But if you're going to touch some, because as soon as you touch it, you're taking off the top layer and it goes down to the white. So that's a really important lesson, thing to keep in mind. Okay, I'm going to call that one done. Give it a bit of heat. I like the colours. That little hint of pink is a nice addition, and I quite like the turquoise on the outside and a bit of the blue under the white cell activator. But we've still got, as we come out, some other colours coming up through. So that's good. I might clean up and take you down for a close up.